And consent, you're all probably gonna have to hit the yes, I consent to being recorded button. Yes. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Wesley Romy. We got connected very randomly. I
Yes.
think I think I sent you a DM on
Think
IG
so.
like after Summer Dance 21 was when we were all
21, I think.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
all like seated down like this. It was like a theater production and less like an actual like event, which is really
Showcase.
yeah, it was like a showcase. I think
Oh,
I just reached out.
wait, with the seats?
Yeah, with the seats,
Oh yeah.
with the chairs. Yeah, with the chairs. So I think I just reached out and I was just like, yo, I really, really love the way you danced, and I'd love to learn and stay connected. I don't really remember what I said in that message. I could probably scroll back and find it, but
Something along those lines. Yeah.
yeah,
Just to connect, like really, just
for sure, for sure. It was like maybe fanboy a little bit, but just I think I was um in the mindset of I think artists really appreciate, deserve their flowers. And I think we can give it to them while we're here, even if it's just something like quick, like a DM, you know what I mean? Rather than just consumption and saying, like every post. Why not just use my voice to say that? And I think that was the start of a really cool ship that has developed and this cool partnership that Wes and I have we've done some work together lately, and it's been
traveled a bit.
yeah, traveled a bit. Just the first time,
Mhm.
first time. More to come,
More to come, more to come, more to come,
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, and I thought it'd be really cool to share. Wes's journey is so unique. His approach is unique, and for somebody who's been around for and been in the game for such a long time, I think there's really interesting perspective that can come out of just sharing history there. So, um, Wes, do you mind if we start with a question?
Go ahead. Shoot.
Do we first of all do we spotlight him or
Yeah, we'll spotlight Wes. For sure.
With my big old head, my big old head.
Yeah.
first question. Oh, that's so broad. Okay.
Well, how would you?
Uh well let me start with specific. Wes, when we were hanging out, you and I talked about our backgrounds aside from just dancing, and you and I had a shared common background. Do you remember what that was?
What we wrote about also?
No, we talked about it, and it was like,
You got to remind him.
well, we talked about martial arts.
Yeah. Yes.
and
Yes.
so that's one of many things, right? So the
Yes.
question
Yes.
for you is,
Yes.
how does your background outside of just dance and
Mm,
history influence your approach to dance?
got you. That's a nice question. That's a good question. Thank you for hitting that one up. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna start like really early, like even before I got into like disciplines and like stuff that's like that people teach you. I have an older brother, right? 7 years older. So he used to like just ragdoll me around the house. So that was my first introduction to just being hella physical. And like if I look back at it, I think that's a big factor in how I tend to like look at the physical aspect because he was playing soccer, he was dancing, he was doing break dance, and I felt super like inspired by my older brother. He was all doing all these cool things. We were watching all these movies together. So watching Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck Norris, whoever, Billy Blanks, all those people on TV. So I had a lot of influence like in my direct uh, basically atmosphere, but also like from watching like other stuff. So when I went into sports, um, immediately I felt like, even though it wasn't so conscious, because I started with soccer when I was like 8 or something. So, and because I was fast, I was a sprinter, like long distance. No, no, no. My condition was like, no. I have asthma. I still have asthma. It was way worse back then. So long distance wasn't, no. But sprinting, oh hell yes. So they would always put me in front or on the side so I could sprint along the side and then kick the ball in front of the people who like had to kick it in. So the physical aspect was very much like pushed because of that. Also at school, I was very fond of like gym time, PE time, um, doing monkey caging, doing all kinds of different things like jumping around and falling and crashing. Like, it was just fun to me. So getting into disciplines, first thing was I did soccer, and then I went into gymnastics also through school. So a lot of jumping again, trampoline stuff, tumbling. And then martial arts came around, I was 14, I think. Yeah. And that really changed my whole idea of like movement itself. And again, it wasn't like super like conscious. It was just I felt so drawn to it because of the movies that I saw, because of the physical prowess that I gained from it, things that I could do with my body, just kick and punch and just be super like athletic. So that went on from like I think 14 until like 25, and in the span of that time, I did like a lot of different things also in the sense of yoga, dabbled a bit in fitness, so playing around with weights and doing bench presses and squats and all that stuff and dumbbell things, and I just tried any and everything that I could get my hands on. And luckily, I also had people around me that were very knowledgeable. I had good coaches, good teachers, and people around me that were also like very physically active. So I had a lot of people to like either train with or ask questions or just practice with, which was also like a big motivator. So yeah, I would say it was a lot in that first period of my life, just doing different things. And I didn't really have the idea also to, teach these things or tie them together. It was just fun to me, super fun to be physically active, to be physically capable. Because also with my friends, we had a friend group where everyone was like, we would play these games at our close to our house, like maybe 2 minutes. We had this square and it was a red dog, and we used to meet there. And what we would do, we would meet and we would just do sprints as he was fastest. That was it. We would just see who was the fastest. And because we were so close together, it was like four guys, four of us, right? And we would always finish within like 1 or 2 steps of each other. And then sometimes one would be faster, and we'd be like, I need to train, or I need to do more sprints, I need to practice, whatever. So yeah, I was just highly motivated by my environment, and I was super curious about uh, different disciplines and like just moving in general. Yeah.
That's awesome. Isn't that, I think that's like the most basic form of competition as kids.
Oh
Who's
yeah.
faster, right?
Ooh,
Who is the fastest person? I remember doing that with my brothers. I'll race you up the hill. Like
yep.
that is the earliest form of competition, I think, which, that's really interesting because thinking about that, how does that history play into how you approach your discipline now, how you approach your dance, how you approach um, getting ready for, let's just use summer dance as an example because it
Mm,
just happened. How
mm,
do
mm,
you how does that inform, maybe not directly, but even indirectly, how have those things tied into how you approach getting ready for a performance or a battle or just
mm.
um, developing your art?
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna roll it back like maybe a few years, because now um, I don't prep as much. Like I just try to keep in shape.
Hmm.
So I just do like maintain stuff. But if I roll it back like a few years, there were like key things that I would do to like get my body ready to, perform, which would still be sprints, a lot of activity, because sprints just give me a lot of like that vigor, to be able to blast off, to be explosive. I would still do tricking, do all my kicks, and jumps, because I think being able to jump, being able to be explosive, being able to kick your legs, you know, the elasticity, the explosiveness allows for so many other things that you could do. Like I think a lot of people think about, oh, you need to be flipping, or you need to be tumbling, or you need to be tricking. But those things, I feel like they give me such different things also when I just look at my dance, you know, being grounded, being explosive on my footwork, or being able to really energize my movements, being able to move big for a long time, being able to be explosive for longer durations, for example. So I would do, for example, 6 steps, you know, a lot of breaking things that I use for stamina. So I would do 6 steps, 10 rounds left, 10 rounds right, take a break, 30 seconds, and then boom, go again. And that's something I got from breakers, you know, training with breakers. We would just go rounds and rounds and rounds. And they would do like a lot of crazy other stuff. I was like, how can I keep that more simple? Let me just do a 6 step, then they'll do a 4 step, and they do a 3 step. You know, and I still get the same kind of like workout, the same kind of like feel of like, oh my God, my lungs, I'm burning up, you know, I'm getting all that work in. So that was mainly the stuff that kept me like on top of my physical game, like at peak, you know. And then there's other stuff that I would do in the sense of like more mobility work, more flow driven work to keep the body basically oiled, you know, to keep the spine alive, to make sure my shoulders are like, you know, healthy, to make sure my hips are functioning. I had an injury a couple years back, which kind of led me to think differently about, you know, how or what I need to do to keep my body healthy in a way, or and also capable. So that kind of shifted me in a way to more movement training, or to incorporate more movement training into my practice, because before that it was a lot of explosiveness, it was a lot of how do you say, taxing work. It costs a lot of energy, you know, it costs a lot on the body still. So also after that you feel the backlash a bit. So I kind of softened it up and balanced it out, and then have moments for explosive work, have moments for movement and mobility work. So I can kind of have that rest and work on specific things that I would need to in order to stay on top of my game. But yeah, I think that really tied into like me just going into round after round after round. If I think about competition, if I think about shows, I rarely got tired, you know. It wasn't a thing. I could just go round after round, and it was just a no-brainer. I could just think about my material. What do I want to do? I didn't think about, you know, I'm tired or my muscles are, you know, no, it's just like, what am I going to do this round? Okay, what am I going to do this round? And that allowed for so much creativity to come out. I didn't have to think about, you know, other stuff. My breathing was in check. You know, I was in tune with my body. I felt healthy. I felt like good, and confident also. Like that confidence was just an enormous boost in how well I knew my body and how far I knew I could push. Um, so yeah, I would say that those things really translate well into my style. I like to be very explosive within my dance, but I also like to smoothen things out, you know, technically nuanced. Yeah, and I think I reflect that a lot in my dance, just organically, I would say.
For sure. Absolutely. What do you, okay, this is kind of it's kind of an interesting question. What do you feel you were missing early in your dance journey? Like what do you,
Well,
yeah.
I always say like groove and like a certain fluidity, like a softness. Like now, I think when people see me and they see me groove and like doing all these things, like, oh my God, you've been doing that your whole life. No, because I was so uh, keen on, you know, physical prowess, and then power, agility, and then, you know, assertiveness in that. I think I went so deep into that, my body was kind of like always like braced for impact or something. So
Hmm.
I needed to find some stuff to soften up. I was so used to like firing and like tension, and that came very natural to me. So that led to me looking in the other direction, because I was confronted in a couple of classes for sure, and also by watching other people, like, how come I can't do this, or how come I can't move that way? You know, how come my body doesn't allow that fluidity to come in, or that connection is not there? So at a certain moment, I dove deeply into just movement in general, and understanding how my body works with balance, connection between certain parts in the body. And it was a lot of spine work. It was a lot of spine work, a lot of waving, a lot of making space in the body and softening up. Um, which led again to another awareness that I had. And I think that translates again back into tying those things together, because now I don't see them like so much as like separate. In the beginning, it was like, okay, I have this explosive factor and like all the power stuff, a lot of footwork oriented. And then I was practicing like, okay, grooves and fluidity and like, rolling around within the body and finding space within those joints. And then started to make sense of like bringing those worlds together. So it was quite a journey to find that for sure. But the movement aspect, doing some yoga, doing some ballet, just trying different things to really get new information in my body. Yeah.
So you just mentioned that you were in different classes and you were watching other people move, and you said, "Why can't I move like that?" And that for you, it kind of inspired this sense of, well, now let me discover myself this way. Um,
Mm,
there's you might have heard the saying that comparison is the thief of joy.
mm,
But in this sense, this comparison led you to actually grow a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What do you
for sure.
think? This could be a hard question, but what do you think that the difference in that nuance is for you specifically, where
Yeah.
some might view, why can't I do that? And then they go down this spiral of self-loathing and
Yeah.
I can't do that, I'll never be able to, versus I can't do that. And then how did you get to how you discovered?
Mm. But I'm a firm believer of healthy competition. I'm a firm, firm, firm believer of healthy competition. When I feel, and it doesn't matter who it is, someone close, someone far away, if they are better at something than me, I don't really get discouraged. I get motivated. And I think that's something that was also bred into me by my teachers, by my peers. Um, I've had healthy environments where I could practice that also. So it was always a space of like pushing each other, but not so much envy each other. I mean, healthy envy, like, oh, you got that? Oh shit, okay, I need to step my game up, I need to work on this. Or, oh, you got that? Cool, let me practice with you. Let me learn that. There were a lot of people that, for example, that came to my classes or that I taught at different schools, but they were teaching different things. Like a friend of mine, she was teaching contemporary and ballet, and I took her classes when she graduated. I was like, I need to come to your stuff because you move in a different way. I don't know this, and I would love to like get more into that so I can like maybe integrate some of those ideas and practice it. So I think it's very much a uh, slippery one for a lot of people. But if you can um, change that thing from a maybe more of an envy or a jealousy or like an insecurity, and see it as this is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity for me to ask someone like, yo, how did you get here? Can you share something with me? Do you teach somewhere? Do you know anybody who teaches this somewhere? And then there's your door. And I also think like if we don't ask people, that was also like a big motivation. If I don't ask people, I don't get anything. If I ask them, they might give me something. So yeah, firm believer of like just helping each other up in whatever way, and not being like, oh, I can't do this. I mean, yeah, you didn't invest, you didn't invest the time that that person did. So if you want it, you need to go get it. Yeah.
I think that's really important in that everybody has something to teach. Everybody has a strength in one realm or another, and it may not be. Maybe your realm isn't physical right now, but maybe it's something else. And I think that's really you touched on something that is really, really close to my heart in that
Mm,
everybody can be a teacher. Everybody has, it's just dependent on the context, it's dependent on who you're talking to, right? And in that sense, we can all help somebody else, maybe somebody that's not as, that's a little earlier in their journey. I don't like the thought of um, skill level like a ladder, but I like to think of journey as in a path. Like
Yeah.
maybe you just started earlier. You remember that game, the Oregon Trail? Do you remember that game?
Oregon Trail.
Oh,
Some of
that's
y'all,
so
that's so,
Americana.
yeah, you're right. That's a little old.
Name sounds familiar though.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think what.
Yeah, yeah. I'm showing my American card right now. Sorry.
You
Yeah.
know of floppy disk,
Do you
like
remember floppy
Yeah,
disk?
yeah, I remember floppy disk still. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not
That's
this
old. That's
Yeah.
old.
a hole in the middle, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can stick your finger.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, our dance, we call it a dance journey like that for a reason, right? Maybe we
Yeah.
started a little earlier. Yeah, Trey, that's right. I'm a 80s baby for sure, for sure. Um, Niece, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I think it's like it's kind of this abstract too. At what point did you realize you're like, you know what, like I'm good, like I'm gonna maintain like the physical part of it. Because
Like maintain
like
this.
where you're like, I'm not doing the most, I'm doing everything now, or it's like I'm just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like when did that shift? Because I think for a lot of us, it's like I know we have students who are like, I gotta go to whacking class, I gotta go to breaking class, house class, and I gotta hit the gym, and I gotta do the program a bit, you know what I mean? And it's like all these
But
things just so they can get ready for like a battle or a set, or and then I gotta go to session, 2 sessions, one for house, one for breaking, you know what I mean? So it's like all these things, and just hearing you say, yeah, like I just gotta upkeep, like get my
yeah, yeah, yeah.
body strong, you know what I mean?
I hear that.
Where did you notice at a certain point you're like, I'm doing the most, like I can pull back, or maybe
I
life.
don't. Yeah, I don't think it was like a conscious thing,
Uh-huh.
but I think somewhere along the line I was just like, I'm good, yo. I'm good. This is enough. And I think it wasn't too long ago. I think uh maybe I think COVID.
Hmm.
I think COVID was like the big one where I was like, yeah, we good. We're good. Maybe slightly before where I was really like I wasn't practicing as hard, I wasn't like going as hard. People would ask me like, so are you ready? Are you ready for events? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, ready as I'll ever be. I didn't do anything extra. I'm just doing what I do. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I think it kind of came with the one is I think the confidence in the work that I've put in the years. And the other thing is also like being content with, you know, not how do you say this? It wasn't so important in the sense of like, oh my God, this is my life. This is life right now. This is what people will think of me. I need to achieve here all the time. I need to. It wasn't so much achievement anymore. It was more of like, yeah, I want to enter. Cool. Yeah, I want to do this. And when that came, also the way I practiced was way different. Now when I practice like things like musicality, like discovering music, how my body can respond to music. Uh, Techniques, not so much, you know. But music, yeah, I like that because music still gives me this like I don't understand this, especially when I go into different cultures, not just house, but just different music. And I'm like, yo, this is something that I want to learn because it's my hearing, and then how my body can respond to this, and that leads me to better articulation, better ways to express myself, and that's what it became for me to be better at expressing myself through my movement rather than oh, I need to achieve this or I need to achieve that, or it's that battle, I need to do so many shows, or no, I want to have fun. I want to have fun. I want to have fun for a long time. And also if I think about the way that I was practicing, if I would go to that way of practicing, I don't think I would last that long. I don't think I would last another 10 to 15 years, doing that. But I will definitely last like another 30 years in the way that I'm practicing now. I'm 100% sure, maybe even longer. I hope. we see, you know. But I'm very confident in that because it's not so much pressure. There's more balance. Yes, I can still do my sprints. I can jump. I can kick. I can punch. I can dance. Do some push-ups and pull-ups. You know, Migs throws a kettlebell at my face. I'm like, yeah, let's go. You know, but it's nice. It's fun. It's diverse. It's challenging. It's more about balancing those things rather than excelling at that one specific thing right now. And I try to compare that with life.
Sure.
Life is very much a variable of so many things for me, where you try to brace yourself for this, you try to juggle that, you try to do this, you know. And I try to do the same with my movement approach. It's maintaining different things so my body is ready to, you know, lift, carry, jump, roll, play with my kids, you know, dance around, go to the club, do some gym work, and just being able to do all of those things became the goal rather than, oh, this specific goal or that specific goal, because you know, that's what I need to do or what I think I need to do. I mean, I can still do those things for sure with all of the stuff that I'm doing now, but it's not the most important thing. Yeah.
That's you said something that I think is really important, in that you got to this point because of the work you've already done. And I think the when if we fast like go back like 20 minutes, you talked about all the movement you had before any sort of discipline. Um, all this movement history, all this history of not just dance, not just martial arts, but just moving your body. And
Mm.
and the fact that your current state is built on that, is built on the shoulders of your past self. And I think that's really important because everybody has some sort of movement history.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, whether you played a sport or didn't. I mean, I was not very active as a kid. Like my pastime was playing Sega Genesis and eating potato chips.
Really?
And
I
that's it.
mean,
That's again. I'm dating myself. I first said Oregon Trail,
Yeah.
and now I said Sega Genesis. So you know, yeah, like the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. Like that was
yeah.
my jam. That was my
I mean,
thing.
your upbringing is so different. Like my movement history, it's like, overseas, it's like recess time was like the time to sprint to go get your noodles. We have noodles. It's actually good.
This is Malaysia.
That is Malaysia.
Okay.
And then we played in the States, they call it Chinese jump rope. And that was like, you would take a bunch of rubber bands and like thread them together and you wrap it on your ankles. And then it goes from ankle to knee to hips to shoulder. And you were like, your goal was to like basically aerial over when it came to like
Oh my
headlock.
gosh.
So it's like that kind of like it's
Yo,
play, but it's like athleticism baked
it's
in.
athletic.
Yeah, it's athletic. It's Sega Genesis.
I was
and I'm
the
like,
most unathletic. Like the first movement thing I did was hop on a skateboard.
Okay.
And I busted my face, and yeah. And that didn't last very long. Just put it back. The skateboard, and then yeah, I tried to go down a half pipe, and
that was that. Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
I mean,
Ooh.
there was some martial arts thrown in there, but like, you know, even then,
Mm.
I was not, there's no, I was rhythmically challenged. I was, yeah,
I have a question
yeah.
actually.
Mm.
Wesley now to when Wesley started,
Mm.
is there anything that you're like, ugh, I'm jealous of that younger me, the new to dance me, or like, man, like I wish I had that again, whether it's the way you saw things or how you approach things or
I, just one thing. Just one thing. Yeah, there's one thing. Like if I could still do my aerials and all that stuff, that would be amazing. Like I used to do tricking, like those fancy kicks and butterflies and corks, backflips and stuff. If I, you know, could go back and then maintain that and not have to get it back now, that would be amazing. That's the only thing I would say, like, you know, for sure.
Bring the camera.
It's not the answer to everything. I know that sounds weird coming from me, but that's not the answer to everything.
Yeah.
All right, I know you have a class to teach soon, and we got to wrap
What
this
time
up.
is it?
35.
Oh,
30.
yeah, we can do one more. One or two
Yeah,
more.
I have a really, it's a two part question, and
Let's go.
it's a little more specific. You've battled a lot. You've had a lot of battles from different events or what have you. What was the most challenging one for you in terms of you can take that however you want. What was the most challenging battle
Hmm.
and what was the most fun? When did you have the most fun?
Yeah. I think the most challenging one. Uh, that's difficult. There were a lot of challenging ones. The one that really pops out right away is like Circle Underground, which I did with Neda and Joseph, and that's like what was it, 2016, 15, something like that. But I don't know, something about that battle. For me, there's something about battling in France also. That was the thing. It's a battle in France. It was a very well-known battle, one of the biggest ones in France, Circle Underground.
Mhm.
And very prestigious. The heads were always there. The people. And then we got invited because you had to be invited with a team to go and do the thing there. And I don't know. I just felt such immense pressure to prove myself because it was like one of the big ones to do, like also in Paris. And it was a lot of people that I looked up to, like Mish, and also at that time like Serial Steppers, and I took a bunch of their classes like years before. Also, I was pretty much involved with also the people in France, and also trying to like get my career like going and stuff. So I remember that I was so stressed, I was so choked up, and I couldn't really get to my dance. Like I didn't enjoy it at all because I was so much focused on I need to perform, I need to do this, I need to be at this level and show my best. And I didn't get to enjoy any of it because I was just so much tied up in my head and yeah. So that was a real challenge. It was a big struggle. Also, like after that, I was like, you need to start doing this thing differently. It was a big change in how I started to view also battling for sure. But that happened like I think multiple times, like at other battles where I felt like there was I was putting so much pressure on myself because of the people that I was looking up to, and then trying to prove myself in front of them, rather than sticking to like what I know and then just doing that and allowing the process to unfold itself and then let
Mm.
that do the work. Uh, so yeah, that was a big challenge.
Mindset,
Um,
everything, huh?
Yeah.
yeah, mindset is everything. And also like Zeph, he's so opposite. He was so chill. He's always so chill, and he just flows on the floor, like goes through this, that's his thing. And Netta was already like, ahead of her time and doing her thing. So it's like also that being with them was like, oh my God, you know. So yeah, but still very grateful for the experience. A very good learning experience.
For sure. What about
Um,
the most fun you've had?
most fun, most fun. Again, there's a lot also.
One that
Um,
one that really, like, when you think about it, just you feel like the smile come up.
Yeah, it's the one with the Hudia where I met y'all, basically.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. When
During
I
summer dance theater show.
during Summer Dance Theater
We're all
show, yeah.
sitting down.
Hey, I missed that though. That was
Honestly, that was comfortable as an audience member.
Right?
The vibe might have been off as like the dancer, but as for the audience, I was like, I got a chair.
yeah, but I think it was
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
yeah.
shock because of like the
Yeah.
mirror. It's like, oh, you're sitting on my lap.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
Like
yep,
scoot, scoot, scoot.
yeah. What was fun
Yeah,
about
but I think what's so fun about it was just being able to really fully let go, fully release, and just do the thing. And also like very much also thanks to Julia, because her energy is like lovely when you get to dance with her, like her energy is so nice.
Yeah.
And I remember that when we started, like, because we danced in the final, and before that I was dancing, but I was sitting behind the table because I was judging, and I didn't really feel connected to my body in the first two battles, or was it, I think. So I think after the first two, I really like made like a pact with myself, like, okay, this is the last round. Whatever you do, just go in for yourself. Just do you. And because I really was like focused on that, I would say, and also in relationship to Julia, we had a moment before we started, like locking eyes, and it was just like really like sincere. And I think I enjoy those encounters the most, when it's like super sincere. I really get to connect with myself, really go in, and it really doesn't matter like what I do, you know, anything that comes out, it just flows. I don't need to think about, the information. I don't need to, I don't know. Of course, there's moments when you think about certain things that you're gonna do, but things just flow, and it just comes out. Um, and to me, that has a lot to do with how I step in, again, what you said with mindset, how I set myself up in the beginning to go into that. That was the key. And then also being in a relationship, like I said, with Kuya. So yeah, I think energy is such an important thing with who you get to share, because that's what I look at also now when I'm on the floor. I don't really go into that battle, mindset. I want to dance. I want to connect with people. Let's have some fun. Unless someone wants to, like, go in, I'm like, okay, let's go. We can do that too. But if it's not coming from the other side, I will rarely like go into that energy. I just want to like dance with people, have fun, connect. And that was like really a heartfelt one, like high on the list. Yeah, for sure.
I think we could end it there. That was really nice little on top of things. Wes, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing yourself, your time with us, your lessons that hard earned, that are sometimes painful physically and mentally. Yeah. Yeah. But
Pleasure.
I think I want to start something, and I'm being 100% transparent in that I'm stealing this from Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO guy. I'm stealing this, right? Like, it's not my idea. But I want to ask you, if you could ask a question to the next person we will have this conversation with, what would that question be?
What would that question be?
Yeah, what would you ask somebody else? What's the question?
I would ask them, like, what's the most valuable thing that you've learned that you still keep with you today in your practice, or in life.
Oh, that's a great question.
And also, like, from who did you get that? Who shared that with you?
Yeah, that's great. That's lovely. I'll ask you that later.
Do that.
I'll ask
Remind
you
me.
that later. Thank you so much, man. Thank you everybody for joining.
Absolute pleasure.
It was lovely to have you. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you all for your time, and we will talk to you very soon. Bye.
See ya. Ciao, ciao.